The City of Neenah is pleased to provide video recordings of City Council meetings. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents from the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or completing the electronic feedback form on the city website. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'd like to call to order the City of Neenah Common Council meeting for Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. The first item on the agenda is the roll call. Please indicate your presence on your roll call device, and the clerk will call the roll.
Council President Borchard.
Here.
Alderman Bruno.
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
Linsky.
Here.
Ellis.
Here.
Weber.
Here.
Lundrum.
Here.
Paulnow.
Here.
And Steiner.
Here.
Thank you. Alderman Ellis, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item on our agenda is a presentation by Assistant Chief Jeff Bernice for a life-saving award to Nate Borain for responding to an injured bicyclist. So I will turn it over to Assistant Chief Bernice and Chief Aaron Olson.
Good evening, Mayor Lang, City Council, and the members of our community. When we hear the term community involvement, we often think of members from various organizations participating in measurable activities that benefit the local area. But sometimes an instantaneous decision can be as impactful to the community and have a tremendous positive outcome than long-term objectives within these establishments. The immediate choice of one of the members within the audience had a substantial and positive conclusion to our community and the City of Neenah. On May 15th, 2025, at approximately 7:26 in the evening, a vehicle versus bicyclist accident occurred on Winnicanney Avenue and Isabella Street within the City of Neenah. The bicyclist sustained major issues and was losing blood from his right arm. Nathan Buran, a resident of the City of Menasha, was driving by and observed this incident. Nathan spontaneously responded and assessed the situation along with other community members. Seeing the heavy loss of blood, Nathan thought outside the box and created a makeshift tourniquet by removing his t-shirt and applying a nearby tree branch. Once applied, this application lowered the loss of blood. In addition, Nathan verbally reassured the bicyclist that he would be fine and calmly connected with him as law enforcement officers and fire rescue professionals arrived on scene. His words were a force multiplier in generating a survival mindset with the incapacitated subject. The cyclist was eventually transported to the hospital for further medical treatment. Nathan's immediate action during this critical situation helped save the life of the cyclist. Nathan is a true credit to our community and praised for his performance. This award nomination was submitted by Officer Brent Whitman, who was the first police officer to arrive. Nathan is being presented with the Citizen Life-Saving Award and the City of Neenah Police Department Challenge Coin presented by Chief Aaron Olson. Please give Nathan a round of applause.
Completely honored for this award, guys, and I appreciate it. I'm glad I could be there at that time. You know, like you said, a lot of people couldn't do it, wouldn't do it. whatnot. It's a shame sometimes, because, people need some help sometimes, and it's nice that I had some knowledge and was able to help them out. And I'm greatly honored for this, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So, did you have any type of first aid or medical training?
I did. I took CPR-AED. That was back in 2011.
Okay,
So it's really under date now, but I watch a lot.
it all came back to you.
I'll keep people alive.
Yeah,
It's fine,
no, that's great,
Right?
yeah.
But I was able to use some of it. It
Thank
works.
you.
I'm sure you guys all think the same. It works.
Thank you so much, and you are what makes our community a great place, so thank you.
Thank you. Really do.
Next item on the agenda, introduction and confirmation of mayor's appointments. There are none, so moving on to approval of the council minutes and proceedings of September 3rd, 2025 regular session. Is there any objection to unanimous consent of the approval of those minutes and proceedings? Any objections to unanimous consent? Seeing none, those minutes and proceedings are approved. The next item on the agenda is the public forum. This is the opportunity for anyone from the public who would like to speak before council to come forward. Please give your name and residential address if you would like to speak before council.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Kornowski. My address of my business is 105 Winneconne Avenue. I am the proud owner of Saucy Kitchen. I just want to thank you for being here today, and I'm excited to be able to talk to you. I am very concerned about the budget and the plan that is under consideration. My business is going to be significantly and negatively impacted. I tried to make this clear before, but I feel a bit unheard. I had brought pictures along and showed where the new changes so the plan was shown to me, and the new change, the changes weren't enough. There isn't enough space to safely get around my building. Now, I rent, okay? I have a landlord, but don't see me as a tenant. See me as a Neenah business, small business. I'm in your community doing business. I'm trying to do more than just rent a property. My business does affect more people than me. I really feel like if you can prevent an accident like we just heard about on Winneconne Avenue, if you can prevent an accident, why wouldn't you take the steps to do so? Why wouldn't you pay the money to do so? In my situation, I believe I have a solution. I cannot control what a landlord does. I don't have that option. All I can do is tell you, you can help make it better and safer. And you have actually that responsibility. You do. I was not told there was going to be construction there. I did understand something was happening there. So I don't want to be made a victim either. I want you to understand. I knew there was going to be construction there. What I didn't know, what I couldn't be told when I was in negotiations way back, I think, September. I was told there was going to be construction. My landlord didn't have a clear understanding of how close that construction would come. It wasn't till in winter of last year that I discovered exactly how close that came. So I went and I shared with Jerry images of the problem, that there's no way a car could pass between the new, I don't know if it's grassy area or curb or sidewalk right now, but there was no way a car could safely go between my building and that new space that's being created. I showed images, they agreed, they came out, they saw how hard it was to back a large truck up and not run, to pretty close to that pedestrian sidewalk. I'd also like to make a point that not everybody is an equal driver. Some are good, some are not good. And there's a lot of accidents that happen on Winneconne Avenue. I don't want them to happen in my parking lot. With these changes, I feel like we could, the budget does not offer my business support and help, and I'm asking for that. My business pays my landlord, who I cannot control. So I'm asking for a little extra to protect my business. I'm asking to be able to put a front door on the north side of the building. There's already a door there. It's actually on the west side of the building. We can do that, but it needs to be a front door, not a back door. There's some construction that would need to happen. Basically, I need to put in a wall so people don't walk into my back storage room. That wouldn't make sense. So I'd really like some support here. But to make this plan work the best and protect a small business, my small business, and I care about Neenah very much. My great-grandparents came to Neenah, and they were at the Waters floral places. That was their homestead. My other grandparents lived downtown Neenah. My mother still lives in Neenah. My brother lives in Neenah. This is home to me. And I would like my small business to be protected by my community. So those are my power words. I hope I'm clear. This plan does not, as it's been changed, it's still hard to move a vehicle that's larger around that corner. And an answer and a solution is, I brought some pictures along for you to see. I don't know where they are right now. But there's a simple solution of putting a parking lot. The city can you already have the construction equipment there. You already have the people that you can contract with. Put a parking lot between my building on the north side, in the back, where currently is the back of the building. It would save everybody a lot of hassle. And just a reminder, when you put that turn lane in, which I'm not against, when you put it in, and people are turning, that's going to increase traffic flow on Winneconne a lot faster. Church Street is right there, you guys. Church Street is right there. And you know what else is right there on Church Street? The entrance to my building. There isn't enough time to stop a car if someone decides to stop fast. There's just not enough time. So moving the parking lot, putting a little investment back into the community, into a small business, supporting me, would actually prevent a lot of accidents and potential problems. But you do have the responsibility to protect your community. And I just, on that note, that would move my entrance over so many feet, it wouldn't be a problem to have that increased right turn traffic on Winneconne Avenue into Church Street. It would solve a lot of problems. I think that's it. Thank you very much for hearing me out, and good luck, I guess, huh?
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak during the public forum portion of this evening's meeting? Anyone? Seeing no one, I will close the public forum. Move on to item 6 in our agenda. Is there anyone from council who would like to speak relative to statements made during the public forum? Alderman Pulno.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to, I had a question popped in my mind for Director Nyforth in regard, I know there's a lot of options for business help in that from your department. Have you, maybe it would be an opportunity, because I know Jennifer had mentioned her big dilemma is the construction cost for moving. That's a big ticket item to move that to the other side of that building for sure. Is there resources or stuff you could discuss with her, or maybe something that we can, program? Like, I don't know, there's industrial development board stuff on the county level. We have a redevelopment fund or community block grant dollars, or any of those avenues possible?
There's certainly different loans and grants out there that we could look at. You're right, the county has a revolving loan fund. GOEDC administers another revolving loan fund for all Winnebago County. And then, of course, we do have some CDBG funds that we could certainly look at to see if the tenant, and we would have to incorporate the owner of the building too in that, calculation, but we could see if they would be eligible for that.
Okay, just a thought. Maybe you could coordinate with Jennifer on that.
Sure.
Alderman Ellis?
Thank you. If you're going to look
Oh,
at
wait,
that,
I'm sorry. It was Alderman Steiner. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I misread.
So I just, Director Kaiser, I know we talked some about this just in the meeting we had a moment ago. In terms of the turn and the timing of Church Street that was referenced during the open forum, maybe could you comment about kind of how you look at that or assess that from a safety perspective and how much time there really is, for individuals coming out of the parking lot or coming out of church? Do we feel comfortable from a safety perspective that there's adequate space there?
Church Street's connection with Winneconne Avenue has been a bone in my craw for a while. With the ICE report that was prepared, as I mentioned in the finance meeting, several roundabout alternatives were evaluated in addition to the traffic signal options. And I don't know that there is a one that anyone really felt comfortable with the proximity of Church Street to Commercial Street. It's a difficult spot now. To a large degree, outbound on Church is self-regulating, depending on time of day. If you know it's way, way off peak, you might make the move to try and take a left turn out of there. But mostly it has become, at peak hours, a right out only, effectively. Inbound in the morning, it's a little difficult even for the left turn going in. I guess, cutting to the chase, the traffic platooning that we see coming through that right turn are driven by the signalization there right now, because a lot of that right turning traffic is halted by people that are intending to go through. So I think we'll actually have more gaps in the future if that right turn traffic can get out of the way and flow through there freely. So I think we'll actually have a little better situation at Church Street and Winneconne, but we're talking very, very marginally better.
Thank you.
Alderman Ellis?
Thank you, Mayor. Director Nineforth, from what Alderman Paulno talked about, seeing if there are grants or whatever out there, and then perhaps talking to Jennifer, should not that conversation happen with the owner of the building and not a potential tenant?
I did say that we would obviously have to involve the owner of the building in that conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Alderman Erickson?
Thank you, Mayor. At the finance meeting, we had asked if you could find out, Director Kaiser, if they had had accepted the offer and then had a signature on it. Were you able to find that out?
Yeah, I contacted the real estate consultant. There's not a deadline on receiving the accepted offer. There are only two components of that whole process that have a specific deadline attached to them, and acceptance of the offer is not one. So it will really become a discussion we have with our consultant, with City Attorney Rashid, as to what kind of window we allow for that to be received, or if we need to proceed with the initial thought of a jurisdictional offer.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak in the council consideration of public forum issues? Seeing no one, we will move on to item 7, the consent agenda. I'll just read out what the 2 items are. Temporary extension Class B combination license to Lionstail Brewing Company, Neenah, for Oktoberfest 2025 to be held on September 19th, 2025 from 3 p.m. to 10:30 p.m., September 20th from noon to 10:30, and September 21st from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The second item is temporary extension Class B combination license to Cedar Bar and Grill, Neenah, for Cedar Cornhole event to be held on October 4th from noon until 6 p.m. with a backup date of October 5th in case of inclement weather. Is there any objection to unanimous consent of the approval of those 2 items? Seeing no objection, those items are approved. Moving on to item 8, reports of standing committees, regular Public Services and Safety Committee meeting of September 9th. Chairman Lundrum.
Thank you, Mayor. As you mentioned, will be reporting out from the regular Public Services and Safety Committee meeting of September 9th, 2025. The minutes can be found on the city website. We have 5 action items tonight. Item number 1, committee recommends council approve the purchase of a 2026 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 four-wheel drive extended cab work truck from Holiday Automotive for $44,092 and approve the purchase of a toolbox, a rear window guard, 2-way radio, additional safety items, and lighting in the amount not to exceed $3,000. And the funding will be coming from the Capital Equipment Fund, and I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Lundrum, seconded by Alderman Weber. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 9-0.
Item number 2, committee recommends council approve the purchase of a 2026 Chevrolet Silverado 3500 four-wheel drive regular cab dump truck from Nableton Auto Works for $71,347 and approve the purchase of a 2-way radio and additional safety items and lighting not to exceed $2,000. Funding from that will come from the Capital Equipment Fund, and I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Lundrum, seconded by Alderman Paulno. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 9-0.
Item number 3, committee recommends council approve the convenience store Class A fermented malt beverage license to Mahabai LLC, doing business as Commercial Petro, 521 South Commercial Street, and Neenah, agent Manisha Balami, and I would so move.
So motion by Alderman Lundrum, seconded by Alderman Paulno. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 9-0.
Item number 4, committee recommends council approve the convenience store Class A fermented malt beverage license to KN LLC, doing business as Fox Point Petro, 904 South Green Bay Road, Neenah, agent Narajaj Sabididi, and I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Lundrum, seconded by Alderman Weber. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 9-0.
And last item, item number 5, committee recommends council approve the Class C wine only and Class B fermented malt beverage license to Union Star Corporation, doing business as The Cheese Table, 125 West Wisconsin Avenue, Neenah, agent John Metzick, and I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Lundrum, seconded by Alderman Paulno. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 9-0.
And that's the end of my report.
Thank you for your report. The next item is the Special Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of September 17th. Chairman Steiner.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to note that there's a difference in terms of what the final motion will be. Instead of we actually removed the jurisdictional offer language during the Finance Committee meeting, and it is now just an offer not to exceed $70,000. Just so everyone is clear on that. So I guess the wording, consideration of committee recommendation on authorization for an offer. Let me know if this is not to exceed $70,000 for 105 West Wisconsin Avenue for the commercial street right turn
Winneconne
lane
I'm
at
sorry.
Winneconne Avenue. Yeah, please.
Sorry, you said Wisconsin and you meant to say Winneconne.
Oh, I'm sorry. 105 West Winneconne Avenue. Thank you.
Sorry for interrupting.
For the commercial street right turn at Winneconne Avenue. So, and I so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Steiner, seconded by Alderman Borchert. Discussion on this item. Alderman Paulno.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to comment on the kittywampus nature of the process of this one. This is something we've been discussing for a year and a half, 2 years for sure, since I've been back in the council. And I guess I have a question, because Director Kaiser put together some good information at the Special Finance Committee. And my question is, first off, process-wise, why did that go through finance and not public service and safety? And second part of the question is, that information, was that not presented at that public service and safety committee earlier for a specific reason? Because it seems like that would alleviate a lot of angst about being rushed, because this information wasn't provided to council until Monday afternoon for a special meeting on something that we've been going on for 2 years.
First question, when I've been involved in property acquisitions, they've gone through finance committee. I don't recall taking any through public services.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a hard rule on that or not. That's just been my practice on that. Second question, as we were in the middle of negotiations with the property owner, I don't know that it's necessarily a good idea to show all of our cards as we're going along here. So again, I wish the timing had fallen on a regular schedule, but given our hope to be able to, our plans to construct that yet this year, we were kind of bumping up against it.
Well, the last counter, as I remember from the special meeting, was September 1st, correct?
That's correct.
So that wouldn't have been able to go to a special finance committee. Why?
Well, because it was simply a counteroffer at that point. We had not heard from the owner as to their response to that.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor. And again, I want to thank Jennifer for coming tonight. You did a great job. You really did. This can be a scary bunch to stand in front of. All right, you did great. And again, my wife and I love your shop. Just a couple of points that I wanted to make on this issue is, as Jennifer, talked about getting some additional parking, and I agree 100%. And when Alderman Paulno and I, for the council members that weren't at finance, when we met with Jennifer, we went on that backside, and we both said that a lot of parking space there. And I was thinking to myself, well, if I was a really good landlord, I would invest in that so I could bring in some good tenants, such as Jennifer. If I was not told before I signed that there might be construction, I want to say this right, but I wasn't told that they were going to actually take some land to create the right turn lane, I don't think I would have signed the damn contract, because that does make it difficult for that situation. And I'm proud that you don't think that you are a victim, but in a sense, in my words, no, you're not, because you're doing a terrific job. But I think your landlord is a slug, and that's all I have to say. Thank you, Mayor.
Is there any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 8-1.
Next, reporting out on the regular Finance and Personnel Committee meeting September 8th. Meeting minutes can be found on the city website. Committee recommends council approve the acquisition of 1225 South Commercial Street at the accepted offer price of $100,000, utilizing CDBG funds as authorized by the Common Council, and I so move.
So motion by Alderman Steiner, seconded by Alderman Ellis. Is there any discussion on this item? Alderman Palmer.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'll be voting against this. I've never been a fan of purchasing property with community block grant dollars. I think it limits you. It still is tax dollars. This parcel is $1,200 annual taxes. Take that off the levy. We don't have a developer's agreement. I know there's been due diligence to put some RFPs out there, and there's good work going on, but we have $1.67 million of parcels currently that we own that collect $0 in tax revenue. Well, I hope that this would move forward. I just think the energy would be better spent on some of the other parts of some of the other parcels that we have currently in the list of to-dos before we buy more, because there's challenges with this parcel and even extended parcels, because the community block grant dollars limit you on your development to a low income, and there's also in the adjacent areas there's environmental concerns. What level they are, we don't know until we do environmental too. So I don't think this is a good investment. That's why I'll be voting no.
Alderman Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor. Surprise, surprise, I do support this, and I support it 100%. And I remember when Director Nineforth was speaking with us and the properties on both sides, and we know that South Commercial Street needs help, and we know that sometimes to entice developers to want to come, we have to make things simpler for them. If we didn't do that, we would not have an industrial park, we would not have Gunderson, and we don't know what we might not have if we don't do this. So in my history of on and off being here since the 80s, this is exactly what community development has brought forth, and it's always been what we have voted for, and it has always provided financial strength to the city of Neenah. No action in the past where we used these funds for this kind of a process did we take a bullet to. We were successful every time, and I think that that would continue with this. Thank you.
Alderman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to ask a question of Director Nineforth. It's my understanding if we purchase this, it is, and Alderman Paulno said it can only be used for low income. It's my understanding if a developer comes in there with a business, they can purchase it and use it for a business as well. It's not just for low income.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was acquired using CDBG funds. Some of the other properties were. So the requirements we have from HUD is a developer could develop low income on it, and we could sell it to them for $1. Or if they wanted to build market rate apartments or a business, they would just have to pay fair market value.
Thank you. I'm going to be supportive of this because I think we need to make sure that we have space for people to purchase, and this makes it a much more desirable area to purchase. And the South Commercial Street corridor is very, very important to develop, and I am very supportive of this.
Alderman Paulno.
Thank you. Just one last comment. We quantify the positives in our development. I know to Alderman Ellis's point, there are a lot of positives, but we don't quantify the $1.7 million in parcels that we previously purchased from 2016 to 2021. That's lost tax revenue, lost tax levy that we don't talk about. We need to talk about it more. It's always been a sore spot for me. I mean, 2016 to 2021, we bought these parcels, so that's 10. Some of them is 10 years we've lost that tax levy. That puts a hole in our levy boat, which makes it harder when we talk about salaries and all these things that the levy goes and supports. That should at least be on the table for conversation, and a vacant lot doesn't drive development. People and relationships do. So just buying it and making it flat doesn't make a development happen. Thank you.
Alderman Steiner.
I do agree that we have to look at the properties that we currently own, but I would say that conversation has been going on at the Plan Commission meetings. That's definitely a focus. It was part of the housing study, and it's something that we are definitely evaluating. So, I mean, I think whatever did or didn't happen in the past, nevertheless, we are doing it currently. Thank you.
Any further? Alderman Erickson.
Thank you. In response to Alderman Paulno's comments, I think part of purchasing these properties is to remove obsolete buildings that are not ripe for redevelopment. We had the Harns Barn building, which would not have been redeveloped as is. We had the Schillebrights building, which was a dry cleaner that would have not been redeveloped as is and would have become an eyesore. This building, if it was left unoccupied, would also have become an eyesore. So that is another reason for taking on these buildings and making the area look good. Thank you.
Council President Borchert.
Again, a lot of the same comments. I support this wholeheartedly. And I remembered when we had a conversation about what South Commercial needed, and there was a lot of blight. And there is a reason why it was designated, and we got grants for those, funds for the road, which looks awesome. And I think people, it'd be nice to hear comments about how wonderful South Commercial is rather than I can't drink a cup of coffee as I go down it. So it's been looking great. But I think that vision and that idea is what sparks that curiosity. And I think when we put things out there, whether it be a certain area in our building, or in our city, or down on South Commercial, I think we have to look the long range. And as Alderman Paulnow was saying, I don't think anyone's ignoring that. But I do know, being in the private sector, but also now being engaged in the public sector, things don't turn on a dime. We are good stewards of these dollars, and I think Alderman Paulnow brings up good ideas and thoughts about those. But I also, too, know that we have the obligation to spur development, and sometimes we have to look further down the road and it's going to take some time. So again, I'm excited about seeing what is down there, seeing as though I lived on that end, and I think it's starting to look nicer because some of those buildings are now being removed. So thank you.
Is there any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 8-1.
Item number 2, committee recommends council approve the acquisition of 135 Millview Drive at the accepted offer price of $2.2 million, utilizing CIP funds as authorized by the Common Council, and I so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Steiner, seconded by Council President Borchert. Discussion on this item. Alderman Paulnow.
Thank you, Mayor. I will be voting against this as well. Different concerns, more specifically, there's no developer agreement with this. TIF 10, you look at the projections, with this borrowing, the 2039 will be when it comes out of debt. This debt service, even though it's in TIF, is going to add to the debt service that are supported by taxpayers. And our debt levy is scheduled to explode in the next 5 years from $4.4 million to $14 million. That just the debt service alone for a house of $200,000, it'll be $502 more in taxes for the citizens of Neenah. That does not include the operating levy that will, the 1% to 2%. So for an average house of $200,000, they could be looking at $600-700. That's before this debt services, and we won't recuperate this even if we have the best development we could think of until this TIF closes. So far as financing, it's very problematic to me. Another thing, as far as I don't understand the transparency of this. We had a closed session middle of July. We're going to move forward. And then it came out in the paper on the 18th that John Bergstrom bought this building. So it seems that we must have some kind of agreement of some kind, but nobody seems to talk about it because it hasn't been mentioned in any meetings, but it was mentioned in the Post Crescent. So apparently he bought it for $2.2 million, and then he's going to sell it to us for $2.2 million. That seems odd. I guess I just would, as an alderman with steward of dollars, I'd like to have more knowledge so I can explain it to people, because I've been getting asked, and I don't really have a good answer, and that's a bad feeling. Thank you.
You can.
As far as the debt levy numbers you're using, with buying this property and getting in development, the increment would pay the debt payments. But you're right, we're putting the cart before the horse.
I understand to pay the debt, it will cover, the TIF is projections, it will cover that. That's not what I meant. But the debt service itself, in real time, is being covered by the taxpayers today. So this $2.2 million in borrowing, that debt service goes on the debt service levy, correct?
No, it does
Okay.
not.
Okay, that doesn't go until, okay. that
It's
makes sense.
GO debt, but it's paid by the TIFs.
Okay.
Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 8-1.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you for your report. The regular Plan Commission meeting of September 9th was canceled, so there is no report. Moving on to the Board of Public Works meeting of September 9th, Vice Chairman Lundrum.
Thank you, Mayor. And once again, reporting out from the Board of Public Works meeting of September 9th, 2025. Those minutes can be found on the city website. We've got 2 action items for this meeting. Item number 1, Board recommends council approve final pay request contract 6-24 Jewelers Park Drive and Carriage Loop Trail at Arrowhead Park, MCC Incorporated, in the amount of 0, because this contract and change order has been already paid along with the retainage, and I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Lundrum, seconded by Alderman Linsky. Is there any discussion on this item? Alderman Paulno.
Thank you. Just, are we voting on a $0 amount because it's a statutory requirement, or is?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 9-0.
The second and last item for this meeting is Board recommends council approve final pay request, contract 11-25, intersection improvement at Church Street and Wisconsin Avenue to Vinton Construction Company in the amount of $73,375.42, and I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Lundrum, seconded by Alderman Weber. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 9-0.
And that's the end of that report.
Would you like to move on to the
You
next?
sure? I don't know what I was waiting for. Another introduction, I guess. I don't know. The next reporting out will be from the Board of Public Works meeting of September 15th, 2025, and those minutes also can be found on the city website. Just one action item tonight. Consideration of board recommendation to award Station 31 remodel project to Milbach Construction Services Company in the amount of $5,899,928.37, plus carry an additional 10% allowance for contingencies, and I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Lundrum, seconded by Alderman Ellis. Discussion on this item.
Is here, if there's any questions.
Alderman Palmo.
Thank you. As I expressed many times, my concern on this new verse used, we had many discussions on that. The 2 consultants, it was clear in there. I know that's been changed, but they had recommended new, and I know a lot of things have been revised in that, but they still, a lot of the points there, new was optimal. Another thing that really concerns me is we're about to embark on a Neenah Fire Rescue consultant efficiency study, and this is a big, big component of a location. I guess I feel it would hamstring, or potentially, maybe they wouldn't say it because it's already baked bread, but what if the consultant had said the efficient use of stations weren't at this location? That's always a possibility unless, they get the feeling that that would never get listened to. So I can't support this as it's currently on our agenda, even though I think I'd want to, but that study, I think, is very important, and I think that kind of hamstrings an efficiency study of an department and locations of stations if we put $6 million into it before we do the study. So I'll be voting against it for that reason.
Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 8-1.
And that's the end of that report.
Thank you for your report. Next is the report of the September 16th Business Improvement District Board meeting. Alderman Ellis.
No report tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. Report from the Library Board. Alderman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. The Neenah Library Board of Trustees met tonight at 4 o'clock. And I am happy to report that they had an antique appraisal event last Saturday with famous appraiser Mark Moran. He appraised 40 items. And it was a 3-hour event, and it was very, very successful. One of the highlights is a lady purchased a chicken figurine at an estate sale for $2, and he estimated that it was worth between $3,000 to $4,000. So that was a highlight for her, I'm sure. Some other people who brought in things didn't have that encouraging of, but that was a really exciting thing. The library had 553 adults registered for the youth departments in their summer reading alongside their children program. And 145 reading logs were entered, and 2,285 reading prompts were completed. There is the programming at the library, and I've got my notes on that, and I'm sorry that I'm a little bit, but I just came from that meeting. So here's the highlight on programming. Programming year-to-date is up 10%, and program attendance is up 23%. For September and October, I passed out the information on October. There are a number of very, very interesting programs. The rest of September has a lot of programming. So please check out the Neenah Public Library website for those dates and information. Lots of fun things going on there. And as always, I encourage you to check out some books. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. And the next report, Neenah Arts Council meeting. Alderman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. The Neenah Arts Council met last Wednesday at 4 p.m. And we had a special guest, Signa Myers, and she is the lady that has come up with a curbside canvas box, similar to a free library box in her front yard on Craft Street. And what she does is she fills it with art, and she has created and hopes the community members will take something that gives them joy. So if you have a chance and you're on Craft Street, or make a trip over to Craft Street, she has some really pretty art projects there for you to take with you and to enjoy. She loves doing art projects, and she's very, very inspiring. In addition, the Neenah Arts Council participated with, we partnered with Downtown Neenah for the Boogie Back to School concert, and we helped with a mural painting project, which was a paint by number project, and it turned out beautiful. And when the project is completed with the sealer and everything on it, will go in the Alta Alley. We will also be participating with the Farmers Market on September 27th, which is the Kids' Day, and we will have a project at the Farmers Market. And if anybody would like to volunteer for that date, I would truly appreciate it. Our members have been volunteering a ton this summer, so I could use a few more volunteers for this. And in fact, I've tapped into some high school students for volunteering as well. But if anybody would like to spend a fun Saturday morning at the Farmers Market, this is a great way to do it. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. Alderman Weber, Landmarks Commission meeting. Oh, sorry,
meeting was
there's no
canceled.
report. I read my notes now. Are there any petitions?
No petitions.
Council directives? New council directives? Unfinished business? New business? Item A is Alderman Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor. At the Committee on Rules, and we're getting ready to present soon. And I'd like to thank Councilwoman Lundgren for doing a great job chairing it, along with Shar and Dave and Kelly. They've really been putting a lot of time in on this. One of the points that came up that really doesn't belong to the Rules Committee, though, is the informational reports that we have. You heard me say tonight, no report from the bid group as an example. And I will tell you that there's a lot going on with the bid, but it truly isn't germane to city business, i.e. what we need to create law with or to authorize expenditures and et cetera. So from that, it was my recommendation that informational issues from committees that are informational only not be reported out to council, because there are many ways that folks can get that information available on the website. They can come to our various meetings. And I just thought that would put the council back into a role that we were more germane to work with. And from that standpoint, I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Ellis, seconded by Council President Borchert. Discussion on this. Council President Borchert.
Alderman Ellis, can you just do me, just kind of get a visual of what you're asking? And if we're looking at this agenda tonight,
right,
what would this motion remove in your motion?
It would remove my bid presentation. It would remove the reports of Neenah Arts Council and Landmarks and all of those other types of commission groups that they're doing great things, but they really don't take a vote from the council floor to address.
Would you offer that? I mean, I'm just curious, would that be more of an announcement at the end of the meeting, or
Yes.
just in that regard as far as the formality of
Right.
the flow of the
Announcements
meeting?
at the end, great.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. I disagree with that. I think it's good to share information about what's going on in the community. Many times people come up to me and ask me about what's going on with the Arts Council, with the Library Board, and they like to hear what is happening in our community. And it only takes a few minutes, and I remember we had a guest here from out of town, and she came up to me after the meeting and she said, I sat through your entire meeting, but I was just so happy to hear about what was going on in your community. And I think for the small amount of time that incurs for that, I think that's not something that I would vote for.
Alderman Colno.
Here we have Alderman Ellis with his what ifs. I like it. So as I envision what you're thinking, Alderman Ellis, is basically things that don't have a vote or a roll call vote, in essence, wouldn't be on there as an agenda item, but they could be listed, or anybody could discuss this under new business or unfinished business, or are you envisioning adding another catch-all?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Council President Borchert.
Alderman Ellis, if you could just explain a little bit further, and if there were an addition at the bottom, I understand the need for council business and what we're to do, if you will, but if there were to say, because to be honest with you, I was always at the end of the meeting, I didn't know if I could announce that there's homecoming during unfinished business or new business, or was it, so I always wondered, where do we put those things? And so I was just curious as if we were to put something like announcements or those things so that it could capture those that come and see us, but also I see us as a, kind of a community entity, and sometimes maybe less jagged as maybe our counterparts above the ladder in politics than us. And so sometimes people do find their events that happen, and people watch this diligently, I'm sure, on public access TV. So I just, again, I would be in for if just readjusting a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm also one, and I do appreciate Mayor Lang and adjusting it and kind of finding more unanimous consent things and those things. I'm not trying to get away from being here at all, but I like to be efficient. And so, as long as that we have a vehicle where people want to share what the
Right.
work that's going on in the
And to
studio.
your point, Mr. President, I agree with Councilwoman Erickson too. I like your reports, I do. All right. But not everybody has got one all the time, and if we created it from an announcement standpoint, as Brian brought up, I think from that venue, if I've got something really neat, I'll bring it up. If I don't, I don't. You have good things to bring up, and you always do, by the way, which makes your reports. I like that. But to say that it's mandatory that we do that when sometimes there's just nothing there, to my what if, I think it would be better under announcements where anybody could ding in and say, I've got something I'd like to share.
Alderman Steiner.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a strong preference in terms of what form it takes, but I do like getting updates in terms of what's going on at the bid. I'm wondering what's the history on why it was added ever in the first place? I mean, there are some groups that don't report out, right? So why are some on there and some aren't? Do we know what the history is? No. It was a long time ago. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think as long as we get periodic updates, I mean, I'm okay with it not being a formal every single time, but I would, if things happen or if there's meetings, I would definitely appreciate receiving an update just to hear what's going on there. Thank you.
Alderman Bruno.
Yes, I would support Alderman Erickson. I think that if we have a commission, we need to report. Otherwise, what is the point to have commission and to have the Landmark Commission or the Art Council, or in this case, why do we have them if we don't have to report? That would be my first point. Second point is, as Alderman, as you said, maybe we don't have anything to report. So in this case, that's not a big deal. We can just say it, saying no report because nothing very important happened. But we still can have a report to do, just saying that nothing is as important. So I don't see the point of not having this report. We can just decide to say something or not to say something. It's not always mandatory. If we don't have anything important, okay, just say it. I think it's important to keep it. It's not because we don't have a vote or we don't have that much important things to do. I think that Arts Council is as important as Park and Rec or as Public Works. It's in a different way, and I would feel very uncomfortable to have a second degree or second level of this commission, like the Landmark Commission, which is for me very important about the history of our city. And I wouldn't like to have a top of commission and a second degree of one. Does it make sense to me? They are all important for the city. And I don't know why we shouldn't have a report to do. That's my point.
Alderman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. Many of the reports originated with Mayor Coffert. The Neenah Arts Council started with Mayor Coffert. It's a council-appointed committee, and the members are approved by the City Council. And I think it's important to let people know how important the arts are in our community. And of all of the committees, we meet regularly. And we have an active group of volunteers that work without funding from the city. Let me clarify that, without funding from the city, to promote the arts in our community. And to put a damper on that is absolutely wrong. So I totally disagree with you. The library board is, the Library Board of Trustees is funded by the city. And they do a lot of good work, and people like to hear about what is going on at our library, which I'm extremely proud of. And no, you're not voting on it, but it's helping for public awareness. There are a lot of things that people don't understand what goes on, how many programs we have, what types of things that are offered, and I think it's good for public information. And so I strongly disagree. Thank you.
Alderman Lundrum.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a great conversation with all of us. I appreciate everyone's opinion. I'm intrigued with an idea of sort of changing up the format a little bit because I, like Council President Borchert, sometimes I have things that I would think that the community would be interested in, but it doesn't really fit under new business or unfinished business. And to have sort of an announcement category, I like that. And that would not, it doesn't sound like Alderman Ellis is saying that that would preclude any of the current reporting out. So if those entities still wanted to report out, nothing would really change except maybe a format change. Mm-hmm. So then we could also add in, if there's a special community event happening in Neenah, we could throw that in there, like, homecoming or some other community event. I'm intrigued by the idea. I think we should pursue this conversation because obviously we all have different ideas on this. And so it looks like the motion is you're just making a recommendation to the Committee on Rules. Mm-hmm. We're not setting it right now, right? We're just setting it up really for more conversation.
And Tammy brought up very good points. Tammy, you did, and your hard work and dedication. Please don't take the way that I've stated what I've stated as any type of an insult to the group, because it's not intended that way at all. These groups do a lot of great work. So does the BID, so does Park and Rec. A lot of them do. But the formatting, to Carrie's point, is where I was trying to take that to see if there isn't a way that we could streamline that and work some other thing in. So from that standpoint, we're just looking to take this to the committee to have conversation.
And then after that conversation, and you're all welcome to attend, but we would then bring that back to council. So it's not like the rules, we were going to make that carved in stone. It would all come back before council. So thank you.
Thank you.
Alderman Weber.
Thank you, Mayor. Alderman Lundrum kind of covered some of what I wanted to say, but I'm part of the Rules Committee as well, and we did have a little bit of a healthy-ish debate about this because I'm on the side that Alderman Erickson is. I think it's our job to bring the information to the council. But also, like Alderman Bruno said, it's our responsibility as well to tailor that report and not, it's what is important and what do we think is really, of note to bring to the council. Because I do think we have to be, cautious that we don't have just a list of announcements as well. I think there's different ways to get information across, and that's why we brought it up in the Rules Committee to bring to council and get more input from everybody. So I'm in favor of continuing to do it, but under the guise of that it's our responsibility what we report out on. So thank you.
Alderman Bruno.
Yes, I would continue regarding what Alderman Landron said about having a new category like announcement. I would agree to have a new category announcement, but not for our other commission, for something or information which are totally out of what we are discussing in commission. So maybe an event that happened in the city, but it's not our responsibility. So I would say to keep to have a new announcement item on the agenda, yes. To have this announcement item to report the Art Council or the library or the Landmark Commission, no way. I think it shouldn't be there, because otherwise it means that, again, it's not that important thing, that it's just an announcement, and it's not just an announcement. I think that. So yes, for a new announcement item at the end of the agenda, where we could discuss what we don't know where to discuss it. But for me, Landmark Commission, Art Council, library, it's not just an announcement. It's what we do, and it's our responsibility to communicate on that, and we need to have a specific item for that.
Alderman Erickson?
Just as a side note, I was looking at the Neenah Public Library Board of Trustees meeting agenda, which was held tonight at 4 o'clock. At our last item on the agenda is announcements, and I think that's what we should do at the end. So if somebody has an announcement about the parade or about some other event in the city, the powwow or something, that's where that should come in. But on the regular monthly meetings, I think those should be called out and be on the agenda.
So I would just like clarification on the motion. Is the motion to be referring this concept to the Committee on Rules for discussion?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay. Council President Borchert.
I love this idea, and I love the debate and dialogue. I've said this many times. We don't get a chance to have this conversation as a council. And just because as we're heading into the strategic plan, just because we've done things the way we've always had, doesn't mean that we can't just look at it, and who knows, we'll come back and say it looks great. So I find that we have more, the more we engage with each other, the more we learn things about each other. So I don't know, I appreciate the dialogue, and I think the more we have conversations about things that we've just always done, to take a fresh look at them, and if it comes back, then so be it. So I appreciate the committee coming in and asking for our input.
Any other discussion on the motion, which is to have discussion on this topic at the Committee on Rules? Any other discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device.
Flo.
Alderman Bruno?
Can I continue to speak? I just have a question to clarify before voting.
I think I already closed discussion. I'm sorry. Just so you're clear, though.
We don't vote to have.
Right. The motion is to have discussion on this topic at the Rules Committee.
Okay.
That motion passes 8-1. Are there any other announcements that may come before council? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
There's a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.
The City of Neenah is pleased to provide video recordings of City Council meetings. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents from the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or completing the electronic feedback form on the city website. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited.